Hey guys, today I'll show you a horror thriller film named Succubus. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins on a snowy Russian island where Stacy and her boyfriend Michael arrive by helicopter. They are joining 3 other couples for a mysterious 3-day event filled with various challenges. The event host, a nun named Sister Elishwa, wearing a white raven mask, leads them into the estate. As they step into the room, Michael takes in the surroundings and feels thrilled that Stacy invited him on this trip. After unpacking, he feels a surge of hormone affection and tries to get closer to her sexy body, but Stacy, seemingly preoccupied, subtly pushes him away. She appears to have other reasons for being here. That evening, Sister Elishwa gathers everyone in a dimly lit hall to prepare them for what lies ahead. She has each participant wear a lie detector and orders them to confess something about themselves. The handsome Andy speaks first, declaring his love for adventure and his deep affection for his girlfriend, Olivia. After he finishes, Olivia immediately responds, revealing they came to repair their relationship after Andy's past betrayal. The lie detector stays silent, confirming their honesty. Michael and Stacy go next, saying they joined to rekindle their intimacy, and they pass the test smoothly. The woman in red, sitting nearby, explains that she's here because another man's interest made her boyfriend jealous, so they came to improve their relationship. Lastly, there's Jean and Javier, who are in an open relationship, quite unlike the others. Once introductions are over, Sister Elishwa tells them they'll face 5 challenges over the next 3 days. If they succeed, they'll get what they desire. A nun hands each of them an envelope with their first challenge. The woman in red's note asks if there is anyone besides her boyfriend who excites her more. She laughs it off and says no, but the lie detector quickly catches her lie, leaving her flustered. After hearing Sister Elishwa's persistent questions, she reluctantly admits her lack of interest in her boyfriend. Feeling humiliated and angry at having her secret exposed, she tries to leave, only to be blocked by a monk, making the scene uncomfortably tense. When it's Stacy's turn to answer her question, witnessing the red-dressed woman's ordeal angers her. She challenges Sister Elishwa, questioning why they're using such harsh methods if the goal is to help relationships. She turns to Michael for support, but what she sees instead is a face as lifeless as a corpse, causing her to faint in shock. When Stacy finally regains consciousness, she finds herself in a maze made of branches. She cautiously explores her surroundings and discovers a flashlight and a second challenge note in a nearby hole, which instructs her to find her partner and escape the maze together. With the flashlight in hand, Stacy navigates the forest, eventually hearing heavy breathing nearby. She approaches, only to see a mirror placed in front of her. Uneasy about the strange scene, she hurries on without noticing her reflection staring intently back at her. Suddenly, she turns to find Andy silently standing behind her. She asks what's happening, but he doesn't respond. Even more unsettling, the mirror behind them shows an image of her and Andy getting close. Andy begins to undress, approaching her like a seducer, as if luring her into darkness. Unable to bear it, Stacy shatters the mirror and Andy disappears with it. Gripped by fear, she turns and runs into the woods. Along the way, Stacy noticed a bracelet hanging on a tree branch. Examining it closely, she saw her name tag attached to it. Nearby, she heard the signal of a transmitter. Following the sound, she discovered it was attached to the key for room 11. Why had this key been left out here? Before she could ponder further, an emaciated, grotesque hand reached out from the bushes. Panic-stricken, Stacy grabbed the items and ran without looking back. Her scream caught the attention of the other participants, who quickly gathered and, with Olivia and Andy leading, found the exit. Back at the manor, Sister Elishwa announced the end of that day's challenge, adding that Javier and Jean had already completed it. The boyfriend of the woman in red glared at Elishwa, enraged by how exhausted his girlfriend looked, and demanded to know why the challenges were so cruel. He wanted them to withdraw from the event, but Sister Elishwa explained that this was all part of the test. She reminded the participants that only by stepping out of their comfort zones and confronting their fears could they achieve the purpose of this gathering. Back in their room, Michael confided in Stacy, admitting that he'd seen a vision of Jean seducing him in the maze mirror. Feeling something was very wrong with this event, Stacy shared her own realization about the island's strangeness and revealed her true purpose for coming. It turned out that Stacy's sister, Melissa, had once visited this island and subsequently disappeared. Finding her was Stacy's main motivation. She showed Michael the bracelet she'd discovered, which had been a gift to her sister and was now inexplicably here. Stacy was convinced that Melissa was still on the island, but Michael dismissed it as Stacy overthinking, suggesting Melissa might simply be on vacation. Their differing views led to an argument, and in her frustration, Stacy left the room, only to catch a glimpse of Elishua disappearing into a room down the hall. Her intuition told her that room held a secret. Meanwhile, the woman in red and her boyfriend were also fighting. She confessed that in the maze, she had been lured by an illusion like all the participants. Alone in the woods, she had seen herself intimately close with Javier, and she couldn't resist the allure of the scene. When Javier appeared before her, she failed to suppress her desires, only to have him shove her back, her neck piercing against a sharp tree branch. She couldn't bring herself to admit her betrayal to her boyfriend, nor could she ask for help. He, already mistrustful, left her without giving her a chance to explain. Moments later, there was a knock on her door, filling her with dread, and when her boyfriend re-entered the room, she had vanished. All that remained was a mirror, now cracked with eerie fractures. The next morning, everyone realized the woman in red and Javier had disappeared. Following the previous night's trial, tensions were high, and seeds of doubt grew between the couples. Adding to the awkwardness, Sister Elishua introduced a new task, pairing each person with someone other than their own partner. Today, Stacy was paired with Andy. Taking this chance, she and Andy went together to room 11, intending to investigate. Under Andy's probing questions, Stacy finally unveiled a shocking secret. She wasn't actually Stacy, but Melissa, Stacy's sister. Due to Stacy's constant focus on her career, she often left Michael neglected, leading to frequent arguments. Coincidentally, Melissa, heartbroken after her own breakup, had been staying at her sister's place for comfort. Harboring feelings for Michael, Melissa donned her sister's dress, hoping to soothe his loneliness. Seeing someone who looked just like his girlfriend but with a striking allure, Michael couldn't hold back his emotions, crossing a line that should never have been crossed. Just then, Stacy had returned home, catching them in the act. Disheartened and devastated, she left for the island. After explaining what had happened, Melissa found a bottle of potion and a hand-drawn map. To her surprise, the map depicted the room at the end of the hallway from the previous night. Melissa's intuition told her that the truth was hidden there. She remembered that the key to the room was with Sister Elishua, so she asked Andy to help her get it. The final day's challenge concluded, and that night, a celebration was held in the manor. While Sister Elishua was distracted, Andy managed to secure the key and quietly handed it to Melissa. Taking the key, Melissa slipped away from the party. She unlocked the door at the end of the hallway and, steeling herself, entered. Inside, she found a woman cloaked in white with a crown of thorns, bound like a prisoner. Just then, a group of nuns wearing white raven masks arrived and led the woman away. Carefully following them, Melissa tried to understand what the nuns were doing, what secrets lay on the island, and where her sister Stacy had gone. Melissa trailed them to an open area at the maze's center, where the woman's head covering was removed, revealing the long-lost woman in red. In a shocking twist, the tree trunk in the center split open, revealing a creature covered in slime and identical to the woman in red. The sight left Melissa paralyzed with fear as she covered her mouth to stifle her screams. The creature bit into the woman in red's neck, draining her soul in moments, adopting her appearance and mannerisms in the process. When the ritual concluded and the creature and nuns departed, Melissa dared to step out of the shadows, finding the woman in red reduced to a lifeless husk. Just as Melissa was about to approach, the woman in red gasped a final breath, then fell silent. Trying to suppress her fear, Melissa noticed a bag at her feet containing Stacy's notebook. It revealed that Stacy had come to the island after uncovering a cult that worshipped ancient Babylonian demons. Driven to investigate, Melissa dug further into the bag, only to discover her sister's body. Her emotions overwhelmed her, and she broke down, unable to hold back her grief. But the monsters on the island were still at large, and she knew she had to find a way to escape. Back in her room, Melissa studied the notebook again. She learned that the demons preyed upon human weaknesses, greed, jealousy, envy, and anger, using these desires as bait to consume souls. Stacy had once considered escaping the island, but her sense of justice wouldn't let her abandon others to the demons. She had spent her last days creating a death potion from Sumerian lore to combat the creatures, though she had failed to use it in time. Just then, a severely injured Michael staggered in, revealing that Jean was one of the demon's minions. Earlier, Jean had lured Michael back to the room and stabbed him in the back with a thorned branch. Shocked and unsure what to do, Melissa rushed Michael to Olivia for help, urging them that they had to leave the island immediately. But just as the four were about to escape, Jean, now fully possessed, blocked their way, accompanied by a group of nuns and monks. She had descended into madness, sacrificing her boyfriend Javier's soul to the demons and promoting the island's mysterious event to lure more victims. Jean gave them two options: join the ritual and become her servants, or face death. Michael, aware that the poison in his wound was fatal, chose to embrace Jean. Furious, Melissa watched, feeling betrayed by Michael's seeming cowardice. However, just as Jean raised her blade to begin the ritual, Michael suddenly seized it, plunging it into her heart. Taken off guard, Jean collapsed, and the other monks and nuns bled from their orifices, perishing along with their master. Tragically, Michael, already infected, did not survive either. Michael's courageous sacrifice strengthened Melissa's resolve to kill the demon. From her sister's notes, she learned that demons are drawn to human desires and passions, and by recreating scenes of infidelity, she could lure the demon out. The demon's appearance is ever-changing, reflecting different forms in mirrors, but if 3 mirrors simultaneously reflect it, it will become disoriented and its movements will slow. Controlling the demon's movements, she could then douse it with the death potion and destroy it completely. With a plan in place, Melissa and her group brought 3 mirrors to the ritual site, preparing for a final showdown with the demon. They positioned the mirrors around the center of the area, covering them with cloth. To lure the demon out, Olivia reluctantly hid, letting her boyfriend Andy and Melissa pretend to be having an affair. Suddenly, Olivia's scream echoed from the maze. Concerned for her safety, Andy rushed to find her while Melissa stayed behind, waiting for their return. Moments later, Andy reappeared, seemingly ready to continue his affair with Melissa, not realizing they had previously agreed on a signal. Melissa quickly saw through the disguise, realizing this was the demon posing as Andy. Seizing the moment, she splashed the death potion onto the demon while the real Andy revealed himself, pulling away the cloth to trap the demon in the mirrors. Stripped of its power, the demon revealed its true, grotesque form. The mirrors that reflected its real face shattered instantly, and countless corpses appeared around them. Instead of attacking Melissa and the others, these bodies walked directly toward the demon. They were all previous victims whose souls had been taken by the demon, finally freed from its influence and seeking revenge, though they could never reclaim their lives. As Stacy's body passed by, she turned to look at Melissa one last time. Overwhelmed, Melissa realized she had betrayed her sister and lost the person she loved most, yet it was her sister's knowledge that had ultimately saved her. Even with her soul taken, Stacy had remembered to protect her. Melissa, Andy, and Olivia threw Molotov cocktails at the demon, engulfing it and the wandering corpses in flames. With the demon finally dead, they were ready to leave, and they found a helicopter awaiting their escape. Just as they were about to depart, Melissa remembered her sister's notebook was still in the room, and Andy volunteered to retrieve it. But as he passed through the hallway, a mirror suddenly shattered out of nowhere, and Andy's face on the helicopter took on a strange, unsettling look, hinting that their nightmare might not be over. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.